Hi, welcome to episode 4 of Cracking the Codex for Codex Tau. This week we're looking at the Kroot Hunting Pack, which is the detachment that nobody really expected us to get, but we did. Loads of new Kroot models, loads of new Kroot rules, and some very specific themed, maybe more narrative rules. How are you feeling about this one?
Yeah, this is the detachment when they were all first previewed. I was like, that's a detachment I think I want to play, but whether it translates, it's the same as like a Ravenwing detachment in Dark Angels. It's the one that you think, oh, yes, please, and then the rules can make and break it. So let's see.
Yeah, I think for this one specifically, the points will make or break it. So right now, I think it's fair to say we're not super excited about it. But we're both expecting Tau to get quite significant cuts in points from where they are in their codex.
Yep.
So that could change because I think there is a very legitimate Kroot carpet list that you could run.
Yes.
Depending on which way the points go. So we'll wait to see. Maybe we need an addendum on this one down the line if we have a gap in the market. But let's get into it. So what do you get if you are in the Kroot Hunting Pack? So first of all, greater good. You technically get this rule.
Yeah.
Not on the Kroot, though.
Because they're not Tau Empire models.
Yeah. So if you've watched these before, you know how it works. You pick two of your units, one of your opponent's units. They all have to be able to see each other. And your guided unit, the one that you want to buff, gets +1 ballistic skill shooting there, -1 ballistic skill shooting elsewhere. And if the observer unit, the one that's doing the spotting, has the mark-alert keyword, you strip cover off the unit that you're shooting at. That's not very relevant until it is, but we'll come to that in the list.
Spoilers.
You also get Hunter's Instincts, and these are quite interesting, I think. So it comes in two parts. It's a detachment rule in two parts, and the first half, I think, is not good, unfortunately. So Hunter's Instincts, your Kroot models make attacks at +1 to hit if you're shooting it or attacking something that is below starting strength, +1 to wound if they're below a half strength. This is not what they needed. The Kroot datasheets are kind of anemic damage-wise, which is fine because there are ways to build, carpets of models without needing to kill stuff. If we look at the endless hordes of Tyranids, I would have liked something a bit more impactful. What do you think of this one?
Yes, so Hunter's Instincts reminds me of the Inner Circle detachment that we got for Dark Angels, where it's like, it's cool rules, but it's situational again. And it's like, having it so it's kind of situationally kind of defined, I find quite frustrating, because then you've got to do some damage first. Yeah, you could just spray some guns at some stuff, soften it out, but that's not a Kroot list necessarily. And if they're peppering people with their guns, or Tau peppering them with guns, why aren't you just peppering them with Tau guns anyway? So it becomes that whole kind of like, why not lean into the army strength a bit more? So that bit does frustrate me, but the second half, as a person that's played a lot of orcs, this is a rule that I would love orcs to have.
So yeah.
When they were given kind of flat 6-up invuns previously, I was like, that's cool. But giving it a 5-up against ranged attacks feels great, because as a unit that's very much favouring being in combat, or at least close, being able to get there is always the challenge. So I kind of like that as a rule.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the way round you want to have it.
Yeah.
Because you're not necessarily killing a lot of stuff in combat. Weight of attacks is one thing, but having a 5-up invuln against the incoming ranged attacks is nice, and then there are other durability buffs that you can layer on, which we'll get to down the line. Also, your Kroot Carnivores get battle lines, so you can take 6 units of them, which is potentially relevant.
Yeah.
Enhancements. 4 of them. What do we got?
Right, so oddly, they're all Kroot model locked in some respects. This one, the first one, is Kroot Hawk Flock. So it's Kroot model. Ranged weapons equipped by the model's bearers have Ignores Cover ability, and enemy units that are set up on the battlefield as reinforcements cannot be set up within 12 inches horizontally of the bearer.
Yeah.
So it's that nice kind of screening that you get with things like infiltrators. Definitely helps against all these 3-inch deep strikes that we're seeing sneaking into books, right?
Yep, you take this because of the everything that comes after the comma. Before the comma, you don't care. After the comma, fantastic rules. It is only from the model. You're probably going to put it on a lone spear, which is a lone op. It is quite pricey. It currently sat at 110 points, but if that goes down, it gets more appealing.
Yeah.
It's a really nice home defender unit. Can't be shot
Yeah.
outside of 12 inches. You can't deploy within 12 inches of it. It gives you a lot of sort of wiggle room to just say,
Yeah.
you're going to
50
struggle
mil
to get.
base as well, so can completely screen off an objective for you as well, even
On
without
top,
this.
yeah, on top of also screening 12 inches, so it just makes the bubble a little bit bigger as well, which is nice.
Right. And then Nomadic Hunter. This one is specifically for Kroot Trail Shapers model only. This is whilst the bearer is leading a unit, add 3 to the move characteristic of models in that unit, and ranged weapons have the assault ability. So a bit of that getting closer can be kind of useful, right? I suppose.
I quite like it. It's you want to close the gap, I think, with this list. Not necessarily to kill stuff, but to move block, to screen. Giving your models assault is nice because you can advance up the board and do an action as well, which is good. I think this is fine. I think it's relatively cheap. It's like 20 points, goes on a 65 point model, something like that. So it's a pretty reasonable cost to buff up a unit.
All Kroot, apart from the hounds, are a base 7-inch move. So that puts you moving to 10 inches plus your average 2-3 inches on an advance if you wanted to use the assault. That's getting you some good angles, hopefully.
Yeah, no, it is solid. And again, the shooting that these units are carrying is not particularly useful. But if you're running 20 models in a squad, you are going to chip away at enemy scoring units once you've got the angles, and you are going to be able to get to that objective to do the action. Yeah,
because a Kroot rifle is rapid fire 1. So 24-inch range. If you're within that 12, suddenly you're doubling your shots as well. So you're encouraged to, really. I think that plays nicely into these 20 bricks. So. And then we've got the root carved weapons, which is the Kroot Warshaper model only. That is all weapons equipped by the bearer have precision and devastating wound abilities. So cool things. But do you want it?
Does that cost any number of points?
Let me just check.
The answer is yes, and thus I'm not interested.
Points. So it costs you 10 of your Tau points.
Yeah, just for reference for anyone who doesn't know what the Warshaper is equipped with, and it's not great. You have 2 options of weapon. The better one is 4 attacks they hit on 2s, strength 5, AP 1, 2 damage. I'm not super jazzed about either of those keywords on that model.
No. The one thing it's got going for it, though, is it's a very pretty model.
Oh, yeah, the model's probably fine, but I'm not taking the enhancement. Moving on.
No. And then we've got the Borthrod Gland, which is a flesh shaper only. This is whilst the bearer is leading a unit, each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack, an unmodified hit roll of 5 or more scores a critical hit. So
that's interesting because you get sustained hits 1 on the flesh shaper, melee only, and the melee attacks that it's going to be attached to aren't particularly great, but it is one of the only ways that you can, increase the output of your squads in melee. So from that perspective, it has some use.
Yeah.
All right. So I think overall I'm a little underwhelmed with the enhancements.
Yeah. But we often find that where the stratagems are where the kind of the secret source is, right?
Sure. So what have we got?
We've got 2 battle tactics this time. We do have, I think, one of the Kroot characters, the Warshaper.
Yes.
His unit, once per battle round, can be the target of a battle tactic for 0 CP. So
basically has the captain ability.
Yeah, so you can have either join the hunt, a trap well laid, or obviously one of the core ones. So let's start with join the hunt. This is the only 2 CP strat that they've got, and this one is in any phase. It's 1 Kroot infantry or Kroot hounds unit from your army that was just destroyed. You can use the stratagem on it even though it's just destroyed. Add a new unit to your army identical to the unit destroyed in strategic reserves at starting strength. The stratagem cannot be used to return a destroyed character unit that is attached to the unit. So you can do it to a unit and bring back the 20 guys, but you can't bring back the guy leading them, which is I see it, but I also...
Timing on that's a bit weird from where the character is attached. I'm assuming that it works. Please let us know down in the comments below if there's something about the timing that stops you from using the free strat to do that, because if not, this is quite a nice way to get, a big brick of 20 models back for no cost, effectively.
Right, so his wording is once per round, 1 unit from your army with this ability can be targeted.
So the wording would be just
Yeah.
whether he is counted as being in the unit when you target them with the stratagem. So it's, I think maybe
that's the
needs
interesting
clearing
one,
up.
yeah, I'm not too certain, because as soon as they are destroyed, he is created into a new unit. So it'd be interesting to see how they rule that, because that's the first time we've seen a situation where that potentially arises, I think.
Yeah. So we'll see. Let us know in the comments what you think, because I'm a little out on that one. If it works, it's fantastic. If it doesn't work, then I don't think I'm running the Warshaper.
Not for 2 CP either. If you're having to pay it full price. Right, the second one that's battle tactic is a trap well laid. This is in your shooting phase or the fight phase. So specifically your shooting phase or either fight phase. One Kroot unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot or fight this turn, this phase. After your unit has resolved its attacks this phase, select one enemy unit that was hit by one or more of those attacks until the end of the phase. Each time a Kroot model from your army makes an attack that targets that enemy unit, unless the attacking unit is battle shocked, improve the armor penetration characteristic of the attack by 1. So unless you're battle shocked, you're getting an extra AP.
Yeah, and that keys up for all of your Kroot models going into that which is, for 1 CP is very good. It's just what they're buffing is initially quite weak. Again, you can use this for 0 CP, so that's quite nice.
Yeah. A good way to counteract someone doing an armor contempt on a unit that's quite pivotal, perhaps, or some sort of equivalency. So we'll see. Cool. Next one, EMP grenades. So this is a war gear stratagem for 1 CP. Your opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase, just after an enemy vehicle unit is selected to shoot or fight. 1 Kroot grenades unit from your army within 8 inches of the enemy vehicle is targeted, and then until the end of the phase, worsen the weapon skill or ballistic skill and ballistic skill characteristic of the enemy vehicle's weapons by 1. So essentially, they are throwing a grenade at it to make it less accurate.
Short circuit it a bit. Yeah, it's fine. It's 1 CP. I think there's some interesting use cases here. The problem is there's going to be some armies that you just can't use it against at all. Anyone who's running, Space Marines with Oath of Moment, any sort of access to rerolls, efficiency boosts on 6s. These are the sorts of things that you see in competitive lists, so I'm not sure how effective it's going to be. Yeah. But in the later game, where you get into those really sort of like, I just need to stay alive here, or if your opponent's got like one big model that really wants to be getting the efficiency out there, I think there's some use to it. I'm not going to use it every game, but I think it's pretty solid.
And that, just to clarify, grenades keyword is on carnivores, Krootox riders, rampagers, and fast stalkers. So it's not just the base guys. So
yeah, what you can also do is just spend the CP to use the grenade strat. That might be better.
Yeah, you never know.
Moving on.
The next one is the Grizzly Feast. This is in the fight phase. 1 Kroot unit from your army that was that destroyed 1 or more enemy units this phase. In your opponent's next command phase, each enemy unit within 6 of your unit must take a battle shock test. If the unit taking that test is below half strength, subtract 1 from the test. Enemy units affected by the stratagem do not need to take any other battle shock tests in the same phase. So you can't double battle shocks test a unit if they're already below half strength.
Yep.
But you can make them potentially -1.
Yep.
It may be useful, but I'm not seeing it come up that often, unfortunately, still.
No, I'm not using my CP on that. Also, good luck getting your opponent's units below half strength. So, I don't think I'm using my CP here.
Yeah. Right, next one, Guerrilla Warriors. So another 1 CP. It's in your movement phase, just after a Kroot unit from your army falls back. That Kroot unit, until the end of the turn, is eligible to shoot and declare a charge.
It's good. It's a really good strat.
Nice and solid.
You're going to have full units tied up, basically. If you're running 20 models plus a character, that takes up a lot of board. You can charge in, tag something, tag a couple of things, maybe in a way that they won't be able to get many models in. Or if your opponent charges you to try and stop you, outnumbering a point or what have you. Just having the flexibility to get out and about and do things is good.
And Kroot unit just means it's any of those options, which is not just your infantry guys. So if you've got some Kroot hounds or something you just want to get zipping over and steal something that they were thinking they were tagging to stop you doing, great.
Yeah. The famous, I'm going to tag you with my, rhino. Oh, now I can actually do things again. This is good. It also lets you fall back and do actions, which is nice.
Yes. What I found interesting is quite often these are shoot or charge, and this is both, which is nice. So,
True.
And then the last one is Hidden Hunters for 1 CP. Your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit has selected its targets. 1 Kroot unit from your army that was selected as the target of 1 or more attacking units' attacks. Until the end of the phase, you can only be selected as the target for a ranged attack if the attacking model is within 12 inches, Edward.
This is really good.
Nurgle strat.
Nurgle strat. But better, because Nurgle's now 18 inches.
Yeah.
This is incredible.
Yeah.
You don't have to declare it at the start of the shooting phase. You declare it after your opponent has, declared attacks. So you know which unit your opponent potentially wants to deal with. Obviously, they can try and bait it out. But you can just say, oh, I see you've positioned only a single unit within range of me. And only like half of the models are in there. I'm actually going to use this strat now, and then nothing else can target me.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's good. It's a really good strat. It doesn't give you any other bonus in the way that I think the Nurgle strat does, but it's just good. It's 1 CP. You're probably going to slam this every turn.
Yeah, I feel like out of those stratagems, like half of them feel like you're going to at least use them most games.
Mm.
It does feel like we've probably had more misses than hits, though, which is a shame. But maybe the powers in the data sheets, right?
I think there's enough in here that you are going to be spending your CP on basically every turn. That I'm not too upset by the sort of very situational ones. I think, feels good.
Yeah, fair one. Right, should we get onto the list then?
Disclaimer. Kroot points are weird at the moment. I am expecting the points to drop pretty significantly. However, we have gone with the book points. So given that we've only got the book points to work from, we've gone with something that's, I think, a little more realistically competitive at the current time. It still has Kroot, but it also does have some units that do things. So we have gone for a list called I Am Kroot. Basically, let's make no bones about it. This list has 2 Storm Surges. I don't know if you remember the 120 Kroot lists from 9th edition with 2 Storm Surges. I mean, they weren't winning events, but they were fun and cool. This is trying to emulate that. Basically, the way that it works is you've got Shadow Sun, who will stay with 1 or both of the Storm Surges, giving an aura of reroll 1s to hit, spotting for 1 of them. The other Storm Surge will be spotted by the Tetra for the 1 or 2 turns that it stays alive, giving full reroll hits and turning off cover. Very nice, obviously. That's the sort of damage output side of things, and that will kill things. So you point at whatever you need to kill, and you're happy. Hope your opponent's brought like Custodies or something. You can just go, oh, cool, I can just focus down a unit and feel good about my 800 points going to your 600 points. Then the rest of the army is playing for basically board control, primary control, doing actions, and abusing the strat for 2 CP to bring back as many models as possible. So you're starting off with 3 bricks of 20 Kroot Carnivores on the board. They each have a Flesh Shaper in. This means against ranged attacks, sure, you're only T3, but you've got a 5-up Invuln, and you've got a 6-up Feel No Pain, I believe it is, from the Flesh Shaper. You've also got a unit of Kroot Farstalkers. The reason we didn't go with more, they're very good, but they're 105 points for 12, which is a little pricey. And then we went with 3 units of 5 Kroot Hounds. They can advance and charge if they start near Kroot models. Not that they're particularly amazing in combat, but that can get them where you need them to be, potentially. They also have OC if they're within range of a Kroot character.
12 inches.
Yeah, which is quite forgiving, especially because you're going to be pushing these units up the board. Your Kroot all have Scout 7 or Infiltrate in the case of the Farstalkers. And then Shadow Sun, Tetras, and Storm Surge, they're just going to point at some units and blow holes in them.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So, when they first announced all of these new Kroot things, in my head, I was quite consciously thinking, the Orc Green Tide lists with shooting, like Orc Green Tide lists used to have. But instead of it being Orc shooting, it's Tau shooting. And that's what this feels like, a kind of the answer to. I think when we were originally talking about this, you went straight for the Storm Surges because you're a filthy narrative gamer that wants to have the cool thematic big robots. You could easily switch those points out for some broadsides or riptides, and I like the fact that you could just plug and play in a couple of good shooting units, put your Kroot to flavour, sprinkle a bit of salt and pepper on it, you'll have a good game. And I don't imagine, like, I say this famously now, I think I'll say it and go, it's not going to take out events, but I think the people playing it will have a good event. And I know that we're often looking at like win rate percentages and like trying to minimax kind of the results you can get out of things, but sometimes buying some cool looking models, and those cool looking models meaning you have a really fun weekend where you play 5 great games, why not? And if you win more than you lose, which I think this probably still can do, you're on to winner, right? And can't ask more than that. You could play something that's supposedly in its 50% like plus win rates and still not get that sort of experience. So if Kroot can get that for us, I'm happy, especially if the points go down. I think that's the big thing for this. If this is worst case scenario, so the book points are high, you can probably get a good 200, maybe up to 400 points off of this. I think if they do trim them down, that suddenly gets you a lot more spice, where you do have the space where you can go, I don't think the Riders, I don't think the Rampages are that great, but if you've got the points there and you feel like you've got it spare, you might try them out.
Yeah, I think if we see a world where Kroot gets significant points reductions, you look at running a list which is 120 Carnivores, 3 Flesh Shapers, 2 to 3 squads of Far Stalkers, 3 squads of Kroot Hounds, and then just Rampages and just go, here's my wall of meat. You're going to have to deal with it.
Yeah, and there'll be people that want to play that. But there was people that wanted to play that before.
No, I think it could be competitively good if the points go down enough, because there are tools in here to basically do the Tyranid endless swarm.
Unending swarm,
unending swarm. So yeah. However, that is in the future. We're not there yet, but do keep an eye tuned, because we might do maybe even just a short video if we do get some points tweaks that are very favourable for Kroot. Thank you as always for watching. Next week we will be looking at the final Tau detachment. Carrion has changed fairly significantly from the index. I think there's some interesting builds to be put towards there. I know some of our teammates have been looking at that as one of the ones they're looking at running. I think it's probably number 2 in the competitive list after Monkar, but there's definitely some real play in that one. As always, if you haven't subscribed, please do that. Give us a like, all the good stuff. Leave a comment. If you want to support us, you can subscribe as well. Support us. If you support via the Captain tier, you get some of our videos early. There is a Discord tier in there as well for a private room. And we'll see you next week.